Hello everyone and welcome back to the Power BI series. In this video, I will walk you through a demo on data modeling in Power BI. If you have ever wondered how to connect your data, clean it and create meaningful relationships, then this video is for you. We will start by importing the data from a flat Excel file, then we'll try to clean it and then we'll create the meaningful relationships on top of it. So let me show you the data set first. So I've stored the data in the flat Excel file and the name of that file is a data modeling dataset and it is having the 4 different sheets. So my data is scattered across 4 different tables. So this is the fact orders table. Then there is a table related to the customers, table related to products information and the tables related to the dates. Okay, so this is my data set. Now before jumping or before loading the data into my Power BI desktop, I have to disable one setting. So where you can find that setting is you have to go to the file option, then option and settings, then click on the option. Then you will be able to get this pop-up. Once you are able to get this pop-up, you have to go to this current file options. You have to click on the data load and you have to uncheck this option. Why we are unchecking it? Because if we checked it, then Power BI will automatically try to create the data model on its own and we don't want to do that. We want to create the data model from the scratch and that's why I'm unchecking this option. Now let me click on OK and now let us try to load the data from that Excel workbook. So let me click on the Excel workbook connector. Then let me select the dataset. Let me click on open. Now you will be able to see a navigator pane which is having all the different sheets or you can say all the different tables present in the same workbook. So I am clicking each one of them. So if you click on any of the table, you will be able to see the load and the transform data option getting enabled. Earlier they were disabled. Over here the column headers are not proper. So we'll try to clean it in our Power Query editor. So this is the preview of my customers table. Then let me click on the dim dates also. So this is the data in my dim dates table. Then this is the data from the dim products table and this is the data all about the orders. So at the bottom you will be able to see the 3 options are there: load, transform data and cancel. So if you click on the load, then the same data will be loaded in your Power BI desktop. If you click on the transform data option, then the same data will be redirected to Power Query editor, and if you click on the cancel, then the navigator pane will be getting closed. Now the column headers are not proper for some of the tables and that's why I will have to transform it. So let me click on the transform data option and you will be able to see this new window got opened, which is the Power Query editor window. Over here you will be able to see all the 4 tables that I have selected. So let's start by analyzing each and every table. So why you are able to see these options over here? Because I have checked on this option called column distribution and the column quality. If I click on the column quality, you will be able to see this valid error empty percentage contribution of the values in the currently selected column. And if you click on the column distribution option, if you check it, then you will be able to see how many distinct and how many unique values are there. Then what is the difference between both of them is that distinct means the values that are different from each other and unique means the values that are appearing only once. So what I want to do over here is I want to treat my first row as the column headers. So how can you do that? How can you transform it is you can click on this option and you can click on use first row as headers, which will treat your first row of the table as a column headers. Now when you do that transformation, a step got added in the applied steps section so that you can keep the track of what transformations you are applying on this query or on this table. Now if you see the customer ID in my dim customers table is a primary key. The data type of it is correct and same for the other 2 columns as well. Now let us move forward with the next table, which is a dim dates table, and this table is having 3 columns. There is a date column. Date column is having 179 distinct and the same number of unique values, which means the date column is the primary key over here in this table. And then there is a week number and the corresponding name of the day. So over here also the data types are also correct and there are no error or the empty records as such. Let me go to the next table, which is the dim products table. Over here, if you carefully observe the first row, it should be the column headers. So let's try to transform the data over here. I will click on use first row as header option. So the first row of the table will be now treated as a column headers, and the same step got added on the right side as well in the applied steps section. Now if you see the products table is having these three columns, and the product ID column is the primary key of this particular table. Product name and the category, each of the column is having all the valid records only. There is no data cleaning required over here. Let's try to go to the next table, which is the fact orders table. So fact order table is having the 6 columns over here, and over here this order ID is nothing but having the same number of distinct and the unique values. And then there are corresponding other columns: order date, the name of the customer ID, then the product ID, the quantity that were ordered, and how many quantities were delivered to that particular customer. So this data is present over here, and as such there are no error or the empty records over here, and the data type also seem to be correct over here. So the data is now clean, and now let me try to load this data to my Power BI desktop. So how can you load it is, you can click on this option called close and apply, which will close this Power Query editor, and it will apply all the changes that I have made over here in Power Query editor. So let me click on close and apply, and once you click on close and apply, you will be able to see all the tables, 4 tables loaded in your Power BI desktop. On the right side you will be able to see them. So if you see over here, you will be able to see there are 4 tables got loaded over here, and corresponding column names and the table names you will be able to see in the data section, but I am not able to see actual data present in that table. So I will have to switch my view to the from report view to the table view. So if I click on the table view, I am present over here, and I will be able to see what type of data is present in that selected table. Now we'll try to create a data modeling in the model view. And so if I want to understand what is the which customer is spending how much amount of the money, or the how much amount of the quantity is getting ordered by a particular customer name. So for that I will have to select the customer name from my customers table, right? I will have to drag it this field, customer name. Also, I will have to see how many quantities that particular customer has ordered. So that information is present in my orders table. So let me try to drag this value and drop it in this table visual. You will be able to see this bar chart got automatically created, but I don't want to have it. Let me try to convert it to the table visual, and let me go to the focus mode. So you will be able to see the quantity correctly. If you carefully observe, each and every customer is having the same number of order quantities, and that is not possible, right? And that is not correct at first place. How every customer can have the same number of quantities? You are able to see this same value repeating across each and every customer name, and it is because there is no relation between the fact orders table and the name customers table, because I have choose the column from the two different tables, and that's why it has not able to identify the proper relationship between them, and that's why there is a need to create a data model. So how can you create a data model is, you have to go to the model view, and now you will be able to see all the tables over here. So let me try to arrange the tables in such a way that I will keep my fact table at the center and all the dimension tables surrounding my fact table. So let me try to arrange the tables in this order. So I have arranged my tables in such a way that the fact table is in the middle and the dimension tables are surrounded by this fact table. Okay. Now let me try to create the data model. And what is a data model? Data model is nothing but creating the relationship between the two tables. Okay. So how can you create the relationship? To create relationship between the two tables should have the common column between them. So if you see the fact orders table and the dim products table, what is the common column in both of them? If you carefully see, you will be able to identify it. There is a product ID column, which is the common column. So how can you create a relationship between them is, you just have to simply drag this field and you have to drop it over here. So once you drag and drop it over here, you will be able to see this interface, which is letting you know that you are creating the relationship between the dim products table and the fact orders table, and on which column you are trying to create the relationship is the product ID column. And what is the cardinality of the relationship? The cardinality of this relationship is one to many. Why is it so? Because your dimension table is having the product ID repeated only single time, but your fact order table is having the product ID repeated multiple times, because there can be multiple transactions for the given product ID, right? That's why this is the cardinality that Power BI has automatically detected. And what is the cross filter direction? Here there is one drop down. If you click on that, you will be able to see there are two options over here, single and both. So single means your dimension table will filter the fact table, and both means both dimension and fact table can filter each other. But now I want my dimension table to filter the fact table. That's why I will be selecting the cross filter direction as a single. You can also manually change the cardinality as well by clicking on this drop down. But currently the cardinality that Power BI has automatically selected, that is correct, which is one to many. And now I will click on save. So once you click on save, now there will be the relationship established between these two tables, dim products and the fact order. And what type of relationship it is? What cardinality is it? One to many. One to many, on one side there is a dim products table, on the many side there is a fact orders table. The same way you have to create the relationship between the other tables as well. So let me try to drag and drop the fields. So let me try to create the relationship between the fact order and the dim customers table. So can you tell me what is the common column present over here? There is a customer ID, right? So let me try to create relationship between both of them. So let me try to drag the customer ID from my dim customers table to the fact order table. Over here you will be able to see the same pop-up again. So you are creating the relationship between the dim customers and the fact order, and on which column you are trying to create the relationship is the customer ID column. So that column got automatically selected over here, and the cardinality, it has also detected that one to many cardinality, because we have already seen the dim customer table is having all the unique values. The values are appearing only one time, but one customer can place multiple orders, right? And that's why the cardinality is one to many over here. Now let me click on save. So this relationship between the fact order and the dim customers will be getting established. And the same way you have to create the relationship between the dim dates and the fact orders. So now if I try to drag the date table or date column from my dim dates table with the order date column from my fact order table, I will be able to create the relationship. Now I am dragging the field from the fact orders first to the dim date. Now the cardinality got changed from many to one, because the first table is my fact table and the next table is a dimension table. So fact table is having the same value of the date repeating multiple times, but your dim date table will be having only exact one value for the given date appearing only once. Okay, that's why the cardinality is many to one, and the cross filter direction is a single only. Let me click on save now, and here you will be able to see the relationship got established over here, and our data model is ready. We have connected every table with each other, and this is what your data model will look like. And can you tell me what type of schema is it? Yes, you identified it correctly. This type of schema is called as a star schema. Why? Because the fact table is in the middle and it is surrounded by the dimension tables. And that's why this type of schema is called as a star schema. Now let me go to the report view and let's try to check whether am I getting the correct values of the ordered quantities by the customers or not. So as I have established the relationship between my dim customers and the facts order table, that's why you are able to see the correct values of the ordered quantities by the corresponding customer name. Now there is a relation between this customers table and the fact order table. That's why you are able to see the correct values over here. If I try to break the relationship between these two tables, let me try to delete it. How can you delete any relationship is you can right click and you can delete this option. You can click on the delete option, and this relationship between the two tables will be now broken. Now there is no relationship between the tables. And if I go to the report view again, then you will be able to see the same value appearing across each and every customer name, but which is not correct, right? So let me try to go to the model view again, and let's try to establish the relationship between these two tables. And I'm creating the relationship between the dim customers and the fact orders, and the cardinality is one to many because the relationship is between the dimension to the fact table, and the cross filter direction is single. Now let me click on save. Now there is a relation between the customers and the fact order table. Now your report, the table visual will give you the correct values, number of quantities ordered by that particular customer. So that's why creating the relationship between the tables is very important, and this is how you can load the data, clean it, and then you can create the proper data model out of it. Remember, a good data model is the foundation of every successful Power BI report. If your model is well designed, your visuals will always give the right insights. Thanks for watching till here, and I will see you in the next one.